Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Diedrich, and today I will be guiding you through a restorative yoga practice. For today's practice, we'll do two postures, and you'll need 2 blankets, 2 blocks, or something that resembles a block like a book, but make sure whatever your 2 things are, they're the same size. You'll also need a bolster, or something that resembles a bolster, like a big pillow that's pretty sturdy. And then lastly, you'll want something to cover your eyes, whether that's an eye pillow, or sometimes I like to use a bandana or a hand towel, just something that can block out some of the light while you're practicing. So we'll get right into our first posture, which is called Mountain Brook and is a chest opener. So what you'll do is you'll take one of your blankets and roll it long edge to long edge. And what you'll do with this is place the blanket on top of your blocks. So here I have my 2 blocks at the bottom of my mat where my legs will be. And I have them situated like this. So they're lengthwise and they're together. And then I'll place the blanket on top of the blocks, and this is where your knees will go. You'll take your second blanket and do the same thing. Roll long edge to long edge. And what you might find is that this is too thick for your back bend, because what we'll be doing is we'll be laying back onto it. So if this proves to be too much for your spine and it's just too much of a chest opener, you're welcome to unroll it a little bit. So you can see I'm kind of leaving a tail end, and then it's a smaller, skinnier roll. So play with that as you need to. So one blanket roll toward the top of the mat. Your legs set up here. Make sure you have your eye pillow handy so you don't have to get back up again and grab it. First thing you'll do is you'll set your knees, the back of your knees, onto this setup at the bottom of your mat. My heels are touching the floor and the backs of my knees are resting here. And you kind of have to figure this out with your proportions, but this other blanket will rest at your mid-back, so pretty much beneath the scapula or the shoulder blades. And what you want is for the top of the shoulders to be resting down. So I'm not hovering here at my shoulders. I'm finding a place where the very crest of the shoulders can come down so that you get that really nice chest opening. Your arms can be in a cactus position, bending at the elbows with the palms facing up, or the arms can be out wide to a T. You're welcome to add a third blanket under the head if that feels more comfortable as you rest here. And then I like to kind of fidget a little bit and make sure I'm really in the right place. So feel free to move your pelvis or your legs around or your chest and get nice and comfortable. And then lastly, find your eye covering and place it over the top of your eye. So let the weight rest more on the brow bones so that there's not too much pressure on the eyelids themselves. The true benefits of restorative come when we hold the pose for some time. So we'll be here for about 10 minutes, and knowing that, make any sort of movements, adjust your props, or fidget in any way that helps you find a sustainable posture where you can really sink and settle in. And find that place of deep rest. Once you do find that place in your physical body, take a deep inhale through your nose, fill the sides of your ribs into your chest. And exhale, let it go. Feel the back body ground down toward your mat. Again, deep inhale through your nose. Let it be slow and smooth. Hold the breath at the top as you puff up through your chest and the sides of your ribs. And then exhale, let it go, letting your back body grow heavy toward the mat. And do that as many times as you need to drop into this posture. Eventually, shift into a more rhythmic and natural pattern of breathing. Give your weight over to your props, giving yourself permission to be fully supported here so that your muscles can release, so that any internal knots can begin to unravel in the body and in the mind. And be gentle with yourself through this practice, noticing what spontaneously arises as you hold this pose. And as you engage your experience and become more intimate with it, see if you can kind of step back a little bit and observe that experience without judgment or being too critical. Rather, see if you can become curious about it so it can feed you the information that you need. And if you find that a lot starts to unravel, you can call on your breath, using that as a tool as you hold the pose. Notice here if you can soften your jaw a little bit more. Invite space inside of the mouth, softening the space between the two rows of teeth as you let your tongue relax toward the back of the throat. As you let the back of your skull sink heavy toward the ground. And notice if there's anywhere else in the body that you could bathe in your attention so that it can start to release and relax. Gentle, easy, wave-like breath. Allow the breath to mimic the wave-like shape that your body takes here. Very slowly start to bring your attention back inside to your breathing. No need to do anything just yet, simply watch the breath and bring your awareness out to the sounds and the sensations around you as well, starting to become aware of the space that you're in. Take another deep, slow, smooth inhale, filling the sides of the ribs and the chest, feeling the back bend. And take a clearing breath, exhale. And then as you feel ready, take your time. You'll step one foot on your bottom setup and then the other, so the knees start to bend toward the chest. And then just stay there for a moment as you slowly and mindfully move your body again. And from there, you can roll off to one side, coming into the fetal position. And then from the fetal position, you can press down and rise up. Whew. Okay, we'll come into our next posture, which is called Stonehenge. And this will act as our Shavasana, so it will be our last posture. You can have your eye pillow toward the top of your mat. And then here, open up one of your blankets that you had rolled and place it toward the top of your mat for your head to rest. Okay. The next thing we'll do is you'll set up your blocks on their highest height, and you might need to kind of play with this, but you'll set the blocks up on their highest height and lay your bolster zipper down so you don't feel the zipper onto your blocks. And go ahead and adjust so that the blocks are the right distance to really hold the bolster steady. You want to do a little test here. Give it a little push and make sure it's not going to fall on you. If you don't have this set up, you can also use your couch. So what we'll do here is set our calves and our shins on the bolster. And as you can see, my shins are now parallel to the ground. So this is what we're going for. So if you had a couch or something, you could set your legs up on the couch instead of this if you don't have this set up. And you really want to make sure the backs of your knees are on the setup as well. So you're not back here like this. Okay. And then you'll set up your blanket for your head. And come on down. Okay. And then again, make sure your pelvis is in a nice position and the legs are really steady here and comfortable. Okay. Sometimes I like to roll my blanket up, and you can do this as well if you'd like. I like to roll my blanket up a little bit so that there's some nice support in my cervical spine. Okay. And then lastly, find your eye covering and go ahead and place it over your eyes. And your arms can be in any comfortable position. I like to have mine like Shavasana, arms by the side, palms facing up. And then again, before you fully settle, just take note of if you're completely comfortable or as comfortable as you can be. Notice if you could use support anywhere else, maybe underneath the pelvis to pad the back of the hips. What's nice about this posture, Stonehenge, is that it's kind of this hybrid between Shavasana and legs up the wall. So with the legs elevated above the hips, we can drain the legs of any stagnant energy. And coming toward an inversion like this helps to slow down the brain waves and bring us into our parasympathetic nervous system, our rest and digest state. And so this is a really nice pose to do at the end of your practice or before bed, to start to calm the nervous system. Imagine there's weight on your shins, on the front of your shin bones. And let your shins get really heavy onto your bolster or your setup. allowing the feet to relax, the toes. Give your arms enough space to let the shoulders relax. So notice if you want the arms closer into the body or further away, which feels more relaxing for you. Feel the thigh bones as they cascade down into the hip sockets. Back of the pelvis widens and softens toward the mat. Receiving the breath with a soft belly and releasing the breath with a soft belly. Relax your fingers as you let your fingertips soften in toward your palms, noticing them curling in as they relax. And then notice the best place for your chin to be in space. Where your chin is can dictate the release through your skull and through your neck, so feel free to adjust that as need be. Once your body feels set, allow time to do the rest of the work for you. Being patient with the releasing process of your body. Being gentle with your breathing. And extending understanding toward your mind and your mental patterns. softly inhale the breath. And softly let the breath go. And even as we start to move out of this pose, try and maintain that restorative essence or restorative feeling, moving with a sense of ease. And to come out of this pose, you'll carefully lift one leg away from your bottom setup, and then the other leg, and start to move the knees in toward the chest. And then from there, roll onto your side, curling up into the fetal position. And take your time as you press your way up to your final seat with your eyes closed this time. And come to any comfortable position, drawing the hands together in front of the heart. Bowing your chin toward your chest, lifting your chest toward your chin. And allow this gesture to be one of honoring yourself, celebrating yourself for creating the space, giving yourself the time to rest, to become more intimate with your experience, so that you may be that way with others, so that you may deepen your intimacy with the world around you. Let's take one more breath together to end our practice. Deep inhale. And deep exhale. And I thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste.